balance and to eat in the right moment, and then to suffer also in the second half, because they suffered a lot and they showed the resilience. And when a team is good to do this, it means that they are ready to fight to win the title.
Mikel, a terrific victory for your side. What brought it about?
Everything. I love the way we played, the courage that we showed to come here and play the way we played. And obviously, we have a job. We can make a lot of people happy. And I'm sure tonight we made a lot of Arsenal fans very happy.
Arsenal's first win at Tottenham's new ground. Arsenal's first win at Tottenham since Arteta was in the team back in March 2014. So that's pretty much 9 years ago. Leo, whatever happens, whoever wins the league, Arsenal aren't going away. I think we can say that now.
I think you've got to give them even more credit than that. I think the way they're playing, I think this is a different Arsenal team. Look at that record we've just seen on screen. This is an Arsenal team that is putting records behind them. They're making their own records. They're a team that believe in the process and believe in their objectives at the end of the season. There was no doubt in the minds of probably Mikel Arteta and the Arsenal players that they were going to go to Tottenham and come away with the victory today. And the performance in that game and all season long has been very impressive.
Are they favourites now to win the title? They're not quite halfway. Next weekend, Manchester United is the halfway point.
I think if you put a number on it, I'd say 60-44. I think 60-40. I think they are favourites for it. I think it's the way they're playing. I think it's their style. I think it's how confident they are. Momentum's with them. They're not a soft touch anymore. I look at people like Granit Xhaka, different man. Thomas Partey, one of the best midfield players in the country, can do everything. They're not missing Jesus. Nketiah's got his goals. He's still a good number 9, 5 and 6 he's got. But they're a team on them at the minute where you watch them, and very rarely do you get teams in the Premier League. But I think over the last 4 or 5 years, you stick Liverpool down on a bit of paper and you go, win. You stick Man City down on a bit of paper, you go, win. Arsenal are in that conversation. Doesn't matter who they play now, you go, I fancy Arsenal.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at the goals then. And you said the game will never change. You were saying off air, the game never changes. No pressure on the ball.
High line.
You've got to drop. And at the high line, you're in trouble. And that's what they did, didn't they?
It's as basic as it gets. There's no pressure on the ball. Room for Arsenal and Saka to run in behind. Then Sessegnon's got him 1v1. He tries to shepherd him to the byline. So his body position is actually quite good, Sessegnon, because you wouldn't want Saka dropping back in onto his left foot.
Should he get closer to Saka, though?
Probably, but I think he gets done by the skill, because he's thinking he's going to cut inside onto his left. Then he just shifts it a yard. Then the deflection makes it uncomfortable for Lloris.
Is it harsh to blame Lloris because of the deflection?
No, I don't think it's harsh at all. We're talking about a top-quality goalkeeper who should be able to react quicker than that. I do think there's a few problems in there, as Don said, the high line. I personally feel, despite Saka being the quality player he is inside the penalty area, Sessegnon's got to get closer. I get frustrated quite often these days. The modern-day fullbacks like to back off and try and block crosses rather than really make contact with the opposition wingers, and that was a prime example of it. It
was one of those games that Arsenal was so dominant, you felt from their point of view, because you knew Tottenham would come back into it. They needed the second goal. Odegaard had a good shot, well saved. Partey quite possibly could have scored goal of the season with that volley. Then they do get a second goal. I mean, Odegaard has been as good as anybody, has he not, in the league this season?
Absolutely. His numbers speak for themselves, and his quality setting the tone for this Arsenal team to get turned and play forward and create opportunities, but in recent weeks score goals from everywhere as well. And look at the pocket of space he's found. It's such intelligence that he plays football with, and again, probably not the cleanest strike he'll ever hit, but because he's hit it with power, because he's hit it in the corner, it makes it difficult for Hugo Lloris, and it was no more than Arsenal deserved at that time. And actually, as you mentioned, it could have actually been more by the time they got to half-time.
Credit Arteta for having the foresight, because his upbringing's been amazing. Going to Real Madrid at 16, going out on loan to Sociedad, which sort of give him the confidence. Then you bring him into Arsenal, and then after a year or two, you make him captain. That's bold. So Arteta recognises the player and the character, and he's a beautiful footballer to watch. But he can do it all. He's a player that I love when you watch him, and even when he's doing his defensive duties, he doesn't have to snap into tackles. People think when you play number 10 or as a number 8, you've got to be snapping into tackles. You can get yourself in a good position. It's like watching Luka Modric. I'm not comparing, but you don't see Luka Modric dive into tackles. He's positional. and his awareness on where to be on a football pitch is smart. And that's what I see when I watch Ødegaard.
Even though Arsenal were pretty good, they needed their goalkeeper to play very well. And they knew, particularly in the second half, some saves from the first half as well, that Tottenham would come strongly. This is in the first half. This is at 1-0. We'll talk about offside, I think, a little bit later on, but there you are. That's not interfering with play, Harry Kane. It's a good save.
It is a good save. This is a smart one as well. So they were pushing, Tottenham. They were trying. I think it was more moments in the game. But listen, in any game, more so I think in a derby, your goalkeeper's going to be not busy, but he's going to have to pull off saves that you expect him to pull off. And he's a very, very confident young man. This is a good save. That felt crucial.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs rallied. Arsenal will have expected that to be the case, but I felt in that Arsenal showed the other side of what they're capable of. Yes, you can be this developing team going forward. Mikel's bringing together quality players who are fantastic to watch offensively, but they showed how well they're prepared to defend and how well they're prepared to make blocks, last-ditch challenges, get back in. And then when your keeper's called on, he has a magnificent performance as well. So I think Mikel Arteta and Arsenal will look at that as an all-round complete performance.
So 18 games into the league season then. Let's have a look what Arsenal do in the next few weeks, including an FA Cup tie at the Etihad, of course. Amazing how it happens in the fourth round. Manchester United next weekend. Then the City game is the FA Cup. Then they go to your old club at Goodison, the two of you. We'll talk about that in a second and what Everton are doing. Then Brentford, then City in the league, and then they go to Villa Park. I mean, every game now is going to have a focus and a sense of occasion about it, isn't it?
But it's the way it is.
It's what you want, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's the way when you're at the top of the league or in the bottom three, you're scanning fixtures and you're looking at a block of fixtures. If you're Arsenal, you just look at the next game. Cliché, but it's Man United, because the form that Man United are in feels like a great game. And every single game they win, whether it's a North London derby or against Man United, from here on in, it's going to be a statement win. If they take 3 points off Man United, it puts them back at more or less, not more or less, but it takes that horse out of the equation for a little while. And then you go into the games against Man City, etc. And it just builds momentum and confidence. And while you've got that 8-point lead, if you can try and make it grow by a point or two, confidence is going to be sky high.
What about Tottenham then? They've lost 4 of the last 5 at home. They are almost always 2-0 down at half-time. Even the 4-3 win against Leeds, they were behind 3 times.
7 times 2-0 down.
And
what is going on?
That's what they've got to solve, how they start games. I mean, yes, they rallied in the second half and put Arsenal on the back foot, but you can't continue to start games in that way because you've always got a mountain to climb. And, you'd probably say in the swing of things, they were always going to find that game today against Arsenal difficult, such as Arsenal's form, but the run they're on isn't what they're expected to be.